Grab your gear, let's hit the water. Paddle and fin where the vibe gets hotter. Kayak fishing, straight talk, hear the stories unfold. Salty freshwater adventures bold. With multiple hosts, yeah, the crew's all here. Casting lines in rivers, no need for fear. From the east to the west, we're making waves. Join the tournament hype, see how it raves. Paddle and fin, we're on the go. From the lakes to the oceans, let the good times flow. Fishing tales and triumphs will paint the scene. Jib reviews and profiles, you know what we mean. Bring special guests, every episode shines. This is kayak fishing, where the world aligns.
Hey guys, welcome to the Wednesday morning episode of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well and staying warm. So, I've been thinking the past couple days about doing this episode, and I've done it before. And you've seen a lot of them out there. Just going to add one to it. And it's about if you're getting into kayak fishing, it's just a simple guide for you guys looking to get into it. So, without further ado, let's kick off the show.
Rolling out strong with the Rusty Hook crew. It's Big Daddy John Rapp bringing the truth to you. Kayak fishing warriors, we ride the waves. Tournament sales, repping the way that we play. Jackhammers pounding, testing our skill. Net rig slaying, getting our thrill. Tackle tips sharper than the blades in the game. We're all in this together, always chasing that fame. Rusty Hook podcast, let's break the mold. Fishing straight talk, let the stories unfold. On the riverbanks to the ocean wide. In the world of the kayak, we take pride.
Outstanding. So, it's January. A lot of you guys are about to go send in your 1099s to the IRS, and you're going to hopefully get some cash money back from the government that you can use for a future purchase. Now, the thing about this time of the year, if you're looking to get involved in kayak fishing, you want to get off the bank and you want to make a purchase. And I'm sure many of you have been scoring the internet looking at the different platforms out there. And there are a lot of really good ones. The five main brands in my mind that you'll see out there in the club scene, on the tournament scene, is Jackson, Bonafide, Wilderness, Hobie, Feel Free. Who am I missing? And New Canoe. And New Canoe is really pushing hard, as well as Bonafide. Just about every other year, you'll see these companies coming out with new products. So, those are the 5 to 6 names that I would suggest you look at when you're looking at purchasing a new kayak. This time of year is a great time to do those things. One, you got that income tax check coming back, but more importantly is it's show season. I just came back from the East Tennessee Fishing Show that was held this past weekend. I went down Thursday, had intended to stay through the weekend, but as we all know, that winter storm blew through the U.S., through the southeast and up to the mid-Atlantic, and it made things miserable. Some of the shows either closed early or completely canceled on the weekend. So I ended up just staying one night, leaving down there. I came home with some new cash and fishing rods, some new reels to go on them. I bought some hooks, some tackle. So, and I grabbed a couple of bags of soft plastics. So, yeah, it's that time of year, and the shows are the way to go because when you go to those shows, a lot of the time they're bringing in items that they want to get out of the store, and you can save a lot of money that way. So go look up shows if you're in the Mid-Atlantic region, Ohio. Columbus is going to have a big show this weekend, and that would be the one that I would recommend. Is in Columbus, Ohio. Take $800 with you because you're going to save $200 or $300. I bought a couple cash and rods that were reduced down to $100 because they were overstocked inventory, and then of course I got the Matt Ball special. It's the chatterbait rod that I was in need of. So I picked up 3 rods down there, and I got them for less than $400. So I felt like I got a pretty good deal. But that's what I wanted to point out, that guys, is that it's if you're trying to save a little cash, look at these shows and go to your local retail store too, if you have any, because inventory. It's winter. They're going to push out some of last year's inventory and get it out the door, and because the new inventory is going to be rolling in this spring. So let's talk about those brands that I mentioned. First of all, they're all roto-molded. They're all one piece. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, when you buy, don't spend money on junk and then turn around and sell it, or have it thrown in the garage and turn around and go buy the second time when you could have bought it right the first time. And what I mean is don't go to Walmart and buy a $300 or $400 boat, or to Harbor Freight, or to any of these Bass Pro. I mean, don't do that. Go to a kayak specific store, get a rotor-mold boat, and look at the value that you're going to save by buying right the first time. Now, the other thing we need to consider is there's 2 types of kayaks. There's your sit-in and sit-on-top. Most of the newer models that you're looking at out there that are bass fishing specific, you want to get a sit-on-top. And the thing that you want to do, you want to look at several things on how you're going to use it, how big of a man you are, maybe your age, how you're built, because your center of gravity makes a big deal when you're sitting in those boats. You might have bad knees. It may be hard to get in and get out of your boat. You could be an older man like me, and I'm a little heavy. So all those choices got to weigh in. And I like to fish rivers. So you got to look at the way you're going to use your kayak. As a matter of fact, I just got a call from my wife. She stopped by the post office. My rock guard just came in from, I can't think of the name of the company I bought it from, but it just came in, and I got some sunglasses that I ordered. So now's the time to make the leap and buy the stuff on the off season when things are in stock. Because I tried to buy that rock guard for the past 6 months, all last summer, was looking to get it, and it was out of stock. This time of year I was able to get it, so now I'm not going to be afraid to take my Jackson Big Rig with my NK300 out on the river, and float, because you do have equipment failure. I was floating the Susquehanna River this past year, and my harness broke on my motor where it stressed out, and so I couldn't lift my motor up, and I had to completely detach my motor for toward the end of the float because it was dragging, and I don't want to tear up a $1,200 motor. So that's the point I'm making there is use this time of year to go out and get items that you need. So guys that are new into the kayak fishing scene, you have to, again, go think about how you're going to use it. Are you going to pond hop? Are you going to fish big lakes? Are you going to do river floats? So those type of things that you need to consider when you make your purchase. You can choose a boat that's stable and they're wider. They got flat bottoms. Then you can get boats that have internal storage. So if you're making a 2 or 3 day float, you can throw your pop-up tent underneath there with a change of clothes and some food inside your boat, and not have it carrying on top. You need to look at the weight capacity of the boat as well, because you don't want to get a boat that you could be a 250-pound man and it only has a 300-pound capacity, because then you got to consider the gear and stuff that you're going to carry: tackle boxes, poles, your accessories that you may add. And we'll talk about the accessories here in a little bit, but just little things like that. So let's take a moment to look at. Let's say you've made your decision. You're buying your first boat. You've got the boat coming. Well, there's also some items that you'll need, particularly right off the top of the bat. It's a kayak, so you're going to need a paddle. Paddles aren't cheap. Even a good quality paddle is going to cost you $100. But I would recommend, when you're going to be out on the water for more than 6 to 7 or 8 hours, that you go ahead and spend that extra $125, and you look at buying a carbon fiber paddle, not just a metal or partially metal paddle, but lose that extra 4 or 5, maybe even half pound, because it'll make a big difference when you're paddling for a long period of time. You're going to need a good PFD, and there are several styles of PFDs out there, but you want, your safety is always paramount. And if you get into kayak fishing, you're getting off the bank, you're out there, always be prepared to swim. So always wear your PFD. So find something that fits you, that is comfortable. And when you're at the kayak shop, you know what kind of boat you have at home. Use their boats there if they have your boat, and wear that new PFD that you're considering buying. Make sure it doesn't bound up on the seat or things like that. I personally have inflatable. So I wear an inflatable, and it's set where if I go in the water, it's got a CO2 container, and it'll blow, and it'll inflate my PFD and help me get back up to the top of the water. So that's something you guys might want to consider too, is a good PFD, a good paddle. Those are the two must-haves right off the top when you buy your first kayak. So anyway, give that some thought when you're purchasing. And then most of us that are getting off the bank, we've already got our fishing poles, and we've already got most of our tackle. But now you got to consider what you're going to take out on the boat. And Most of the guys that I know will carry between 4 and 8 rods with them. And they have them set up to fish with immediately. So you're going to need some type of rod storage on your boat, or some type of container to put them on. Yak Attack has their boxes that they have that come with the rod holders that are on the box. And then you can also get their rail mounted holders. Most of your kayaks that you buy already have 2 rod holders built into the kayak. So you can easily add, with the box and those 2 there, you've got room for 6. So that's a good way to start right off there. So you want to carry a couple spinning rods and a couple of bait casters, and set those up for the style of fishing that you're going to do for that day. Either if you're hitting a river, lake, or a pond, then you just rig them specifically for the type of fish that you're targeting. So a lot of guys too, when they're new into kayak fishing, when you get your boat out the first couple times, don't put any gear in it, and take it out for 15-20 minutes and paddle it. When you're paddling, stand up in it if you can, and then adjust your seat from the low position to the high position. Sit back down, and then do it again. And later in the summer, and when the water temperatures are in the 70s and 80s, I highly recommend you take time to go out and practice flipping your boat. So make sure you don't have any gear in it. Take it out, roll the boat over, flip the boat, and then get back in it. And do it a couple times to figure out the best way to get back in your kayak if something happens and you have an accident out on the water. So a couple other things that if you're going to get into tournament fishing, you're going to need a measuring board. And the standard pretty much is the Catch metal boards, and Yak Attack has their leaderboard out too. So those are the 2 brands that you might want to get to measure your fish. A couple other things that I would recommend highly is your safety. You make sure you carry all your safety equipment, like your whistle. You got your whistle here that you're going to use out on the water. If you need it, so you can, and some type of audio device. And another thing I'm going to tell you right off the top of the bat is most of us always take these cell phones out of the water. Now, I've been kayak fishing now for about 14 years, and I was heavily in the tournament scene the first 7-8 years that I fished, and still do take this thing out. But your cell phone will go in the water and you'll lose it. During my kayak fishing time, I probably lost 4 or 5 iPhones. I lost most recently one be this summer 3 years ago, and I didn't have it tethered. I didn't use any. They make different types of things. They make foam covers for them. They used to be popular about 6-7 years ago. That saved my phone about 3 times one summer. But I was a little bit reckless because I knew I had it. But 3 years ago, I'll tell you this story. I took pictures of my fish. I had just caught my very personal best, a 22 and a half to 22 3/4 largemouth, probably about 7.5 pounds. I have, the way I at that time, I had an old iPhone on a mount on my kayak, and I was videoing the catch and everything about what happened with that fish. Had my cell phone, I took the selfie, took the picture of the fish on the board, I let the fish go. It was raining. I put my cell phone in my pocket of my rain jacket, but apparently when I was stroking with my paddle to get back out off the lily pads, I knocked it into the water. I know exactly where it's at in about 7 feet of water, but with all the lily pads, I could never find it, and I don't have the equipment to go digging around for it. So that phone's in the water. It's been there for 3 years. And if that pond, actually it's not a pond. It's more of a rock quarry. Whatever dipped down, I may be able to find it, but I highly doubt it. Yeah, so make sure you protect your investments. That phone is a $1,200, $1,200 investment. Probably the most expensive thing that you'll have on your boat, other than maybe some high dollar fish finders. So make sure you take the opportunity to tether that thing, or make sure it's rigged up so if it does go splashing, that it doesn't go sinking. So, yeah. All right, guys, let's take a quick break. Be right back, and we'll kick off the second half of the show.
This is the Rusty Hook Podcast, supporting people and companies that support us. Feel free kayaks, paddle, pedal, or power, something for everyone. Dubro Fishing, manufacturer of fishing and marine products for freshwater and saltwater anglers. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom soft plastics bait maker. And Ace Adventure Resort, West Virginia's #1 go-to outdoor destination with whitewater, zip lining. You're tuned in to the Rusty Hook Podcast. More than a podcast, but a way of life. From the biggest lakes to the smallest creeks, we are all things kayak fishing. Refresh that drink, turn up the volume, and feel the excitement. It's time for the second half of the show. Live, raw, and unfiltered. Now, let's join the one and only Big Daddy.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is a spur of the moment episode on Kayak Fishing 101. It's the beginner's guide. I thought I'd throw together a few ideas for you guys to listen to and talk about, or consider, as I talk about some of the things that you might want to look at if you're about ready to jump into a kayak, you're ready to get off the bank and start a new chapter of your fishing life. And I'm telling you, kayak fishing is the best way to do it. So thank you for joining me, and don't forget to like, share, and make a comment or two if you have any questions or comments or thoughts about how we can help those guys get off the bank and get out on the water and get out and do some exploring. I'm going to tell you, I live in West Virginia, and I fished just about every major river that we have here. The Potomac, the New, the Gauley, the Greenbrier, the Elk. And, there's no better way to get out and see things. I've seen bald eagles, bobcats, coyotes, big deer. I've had bears swim behind me or in front of me. I've got those on video. Throughout my years out fishing, I've got lots of nature videos. Otters. It's just a very pleasant way to get out and enjoy the water, decompress after being a stressful work week. So I highly recommend you guys that are looking to jump off the bank, hit these trade shows. Look up your area. West Virginia just had theirs last week with this blizzard, but there's more. I'm going to be down in Beckley for the hunting and fishing show that radio stations putting on. I know Ace will be there, so there may be a kayak or two there. Bugsy Bates, a West Virginia-based, West Virginia-owned company. Well, he's a West Virginian, but he lives in Michigan. He'll be down, and he'll have a nice setup in Beckley for you guys. Lots of soft plastics to look at and purchase. So, but yeah, we've got stores in the area, and of course there's E02 Fishing if you need to look at stuff and you need to get it shipped if you're somewhere remote. Or you can just hit the all those brands up specifically, order from them and have them shipped. But there's a lot of good products out there for budget-minded people. So if you're in the market for something and you're not a big man, you're a river fisherman, there's several nice platforms that you can look at. Look at Crescent. They have a nice river boat. New Canoe has a few nice boats too as well. And the one company that I represented for the last 11 years until this past year is Feel Free Kayaks. They have great products that are budget friendly, and if you're a river fisherman or even a lake fisherman and you don't care to stand up, look at that Moken series, the Feel Free Moken. Very budget friendly, and but a very high quality kayak. So yeah, take a look at those, and then don't forget, if you're willing to spend a little money and you don't care about weight of a kayak, you got your Jackson Big Rig, you got the XTR from Bonafide. Wilderness has their new platform out, and highly recommend it. You know, kayak fishing doesn't have to be paddle fishing. You can make your kayak just about into any type of personal watercraft you want to make it. Now, don't forget that if you put a motor on it, most states require you to register them. So when you buy your kayak, if it's used, and you can find a lot of good quality used products out there, make sure that you get from the people you buy your kayak from the certificate of origin from the boat. Or, and of course, always get a bill of sale with the serial number on the bill of sale. That way, when you go to the DMV, you have those two items which are required to get your basically a title, so you can get it stickered up and legal for the next couple years and put a motor on it. Now, when you're talking motors, there's quite a few products out there now that have changed the kayak fishing industry. You have the big four, of course, are Torqeedo, Newport, Bixby, and then most recently, I can't think of the brand name that came out with their motor, but it's got the wire. It's got Bluetooth steering on it. So, and you don't have to have. You can get the front motors on the like you would on a regular bass boat, and they have spot lock, so you can organize your boat like that. Personally, we'll talk about my setup for 2026. I sold all of my boats last year, and I picked up a used 2016 Big Rig, the old Big Rig, and I have it rigged up with my NK300. I have, and there's a lot of things, guys. You can set up a bar across the front of your boat to set items on it. Maybe a cup holder, a phone holder, some rod holders. The way I have mine set up is I have two 9-inch hummingbird screens, and I have the standard 2D set up for one of them, and then on my other graph I have the Mega 360. So that big rig is also equipped with I got the anchor wizard, so I can drop anchor on it, and I use it's a custom made ball here from West Virginia that one of my buddies used to sell years ago. I've got several of them. They came out of one of our steel plants here. They're bearings, and he added a hook to them, and the bearings weigh about 7 pounds. So basically I got a ball anchor, and I used that to keep myself stationary. So that's my boat that I'm going to use this year. I still have my Moken 10 standard, and I got a Bixby motor on the back of it, a J2. That boat was set up for Beth to be motoring around in when we go out. And then we have the still in her container is we have the airship from Feel Free, which is the newest item that they've got out this year. The Superfish is coming out, but the airship is basically, it's got a hard shell in the middle, but then it's got a bladder on the outside. So it's you put it together, you blow it up, very lightweight. It's got a bag that you throw it in. You can throw it in the back of the truck. I don't think it'll fit in the trunk of a car, but it'll definitely, you can throw it in the back of a truck pretty easily and go down the road. So electronics, man. There's that front bar I was talking about. There's a lot of them out on the market. I have the Captain's Bridge from Native, and Native also makes good boats. I left them off earlier. I apologize, Native. You do, guys. My very, very first kayak was a Native Slayer 14.5, and it's a good boat, but it was a mistake for me to buy at the time because it was not the type of boat that I needed for the type of water I fish. A Native Slayer at that time was a great boat for maybe to use offshore or for or for lake fishing. West Virginia's got a lot of rapids and a lot of fast-moving water, and that boat being long and skinny put me out of it on my first trip down a Class 2 rapid because I got moved around too much and there was too much boat. Ended up with a 3.5 foot. Now I got a 10-foot Moken. I lost 14.5 inches of boat. Still had the same weight capacity. A lighter boat that kept me higher up in the water, and I have 4 feet less that I'm going to hit the back of a rock after I get through some swift areas. So that made a big difference for me. And on that trip, there were probably 20 of us going down the river, and I believe only about 4 or 5 made it. Beth made it in her Moken light at that time. Beginners too, don't be afraid to get your wives involved. There's a lot of product out there for them, and get them out on the water and make it a family trip. I mean, a lot of my trips back 13, 14 years ago would include 4 kayaks and a pond boat to take down to the river for the whole family to float 6-8 miles a day and turn around and do it again the next day. So it's a great way to camp, get out on the water. Highly recommend you guys look at kayak fishing. But look at those bars again. You can find them with Native. Yak Attack has their version of a bar. Catch has a bar. Yak Gadget has a bar, and there's different ways that you can use them. I think that new company that's bringing out their kayak, Camino or whatever they are, they have a bar, but they have something that you could put on the side rails too, which is something that I have done with the Yak Gadget bar, so I can have a second layer of things on the side of my boat. If you look at some of the pictures that I have posted, you'll see that. So batteries are one of the most things that you guys as a beginner, when you're putting stuff out on your boat, is you need to make sure that you understand your space is limited. So if you're going to keep batteries to run your electronics, to run your lights, to charge your cameras, and you need to make sure that, one, if they're going to be on top of your boat because you don't have storage underneath, that you have them strapped down and tethered to the boat, so if that boat flips, you don't lose that battery. Some of these batteries are very expensive. I know for me, I carry on my kayak 2 lithium batteries. First is that 36 volt battery that I bought for my NK300. Well, that battery by itself was a little over $800. And then my 50 AH that I have up front, I think was $250. Both of those batteries have the Bluetooth capability, and that's something else that you need to look at, is buy a battery that you can monitor while you're out on the water. Don't let that battery go dead on you 5 hours into your trip, and then you're 7 or 8 miles away from the ramp, and you got to paddle back. So make sure you have the capability of monitoring your battery, and you might want to always bring something as an emergency battery to help get you back. So make sure you strap those down, or you rig them where they're on the inside of your boat, and you can make the appropriate holes in and around your boat and run your lines. So we talked a little bit about storage, and you're going to have your crates and things like that you use to keep your tackle in. Make sure that you buy things out there that are watertight, that have the water seal around them, that rubber gasket. And like I have this Pelican box right here that I use. I put my wallet, my keys, and anything else that I want to keep dry. Sometimes my cell phone until I need it, but or my extra batteries for my Insta360. So, but if I don't have it rigged up with my telescoped battery attachment, which is it's called Tesla, if I remember correctly. So make sure you look at those type things. So now you're out on the water, and so you want to carry stuff, dry bags. Look at buying some dry bags to put your snacks in, your lunch, and to keep things from getting wet and soggy. Probably want to also make sure that when you're looking at, you're carrying your cell phone, and if you go back and look at my last episode, the first episode I think this year, I talked about certain applications, the AI of kayak fishing. Download a few apps on your phone that can help you make your time on the water a little better. Those Bluetooth apps, of course. weather apps, gauge apps if you're fishing the river to make sure that you don't have a big flow of water coming up behind you that may change your trip, and things like that. Highly recommend that. And when you're fish sitting out in the water, learn to read the water, and how the water moves. That's very important, especially when you're fishing a river. Look ahead. If you see alleys of water, water pooling in an alley, that's going to be an area that you may want to. It's a chute, run through it. But if you're in a lot of rocky water and you see water piling up like this, it's coming and there's a straight line of it. Ride it, because what that is two areas of water that's being pushed up that way. You may have rocks around that, and you want to hit that and ride that higher area. It's where water's being pushed. So your starter kit. Let's just refresh what you want. A stable kayak, maybe 2 or 3 rods, some tackle, PFD, whistle, light, some leashes, fish finder, batteries, mounts. And I haven't really discussed the different types of mounts that you can get, but you have Yak Attack is your major supplier for kayak fishing. If it can be made, they make it. Another very good company is Yak Gadget. They make a lot of friendly, budget-friendly items that are comparative to Yak Attack. You have Yak Gear out of Texas. They make a lot of stuff. All of these are track mount based, and you can customize your kayak on how you want to put your gear. I think I've got every one of those products on my kayak at one point or another. Then you have One Objective, and Yak Gadget that make different types of plates that you can put on the back of your kayak to mount motors. Or, a lot of the older boats don't have the 4-hole bolt system on the back where you can mount your motor directly to the boat. So these companies have designed plates that will attach to the rear tracks of your boats and maybe into the rudder hole where you can secure it really soundly. And then it'll have a 3-hole bolt, the 4-hole bolt system in 3 sections. So you can have your motor in the middle and maybe a power pole attachment on one side and a third attachment, maybe a second power pole, a dual. So you look like a mini bass boat with a dual power pole system. So anyway, I'll get ready to start shutting down here, but I want to re-emphasize to the ones that may have missed the beginning of the show. This is the time of the year to buy, and there's a lot of shows going on, a lot of companies out there that are hitting the road with their products, going to coliseums and your National Guard areas, and they're setting up and they're doing shows. Go to them. Take a good amount of money if you're planning on buying things. Baits, rods, and other tackle. Don't forget it. You need scissors, pliers, fingernail clippers, knives to keep those on your boat for certain things that may happen out there. Whether you got to cut a tether, you got to cut your anchor off, or trim line on your fishing pole, pull a hook out of a fish. You need to have all those items. I have I keep a little knife like this on my boat on a carabiner because it's got that little thing right there. So yeah, check out the tools that you'll need. There's a lot of stuff that you should carry on your boat. You know, you're always going to pack water, so get you a good one of those mugs that you carry your stuff in, and cooler. Always carry a little red cooler. Guys that know me, what's up? Little red cooler's going to travel around this year again. For those of you who don't know what that is, I carry a little bit of moonshine with me. But anyway, be blessed. Newbies, first and foremost is safety. Now that if you haven't already done it with your spouse, if you're going to get into kayak fishing and you're going to travel and you're doing it by yourself, make sure you let them know where you're going, what your travel itinerary is going to be. If you're doing a float, like where your put in is, where your takeout is, and turn on your My iPhone settings or download the app and buy the Life 360 so you can be seen or found based on your phone location. And always wear your PFD. Anyway, again, thank you for tuning in to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Much love to you all. Stay safe, and we'll see you out on the water.
Rolling out strong with the Rusty Hook crew. It's Big Daddy John Rapp bringing the truth to you. Kayak fishing warriors, we ride the waves. Tournament sails, repping the way that we play. Jackhammers pounding, testing our skill. Net rig slaying, getting our thrill. Tackle tips sharper than the blades in the game. We're all in this together, always chasing that bang. Rusty Hook podcast, let's break the mold. Fishing straight talk, let the stories unfold. From the riverbanks to the ocean wide. In the world of the kayak, we take pride. We take pride.
Thank you for tuning in to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget for future shows, like, follow, share, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out our individual channels and accounts too. Want to be a guest on one of our shows and talk about adventures, gear, or products? Contact us. Thank you for watching the Chasing the Tide with Dustin Nichols, The Rusty Hook with John Rapp, The River Run with Adam Fraser Cross, The Real Backwaters with Daniel Woodcock, Chasing the 20s with Carlisle Esterly and Sean Lavery. Thanks for tuning into the Paddle and Fin Network. Subscribe and always wear your PFD.